Well, this video is the last of my 3 mini-series on Gettysburg. I knew it was a bucket list of mine, so I knew I was going to be a little long-winded with my videos. But today's video is going to really give a more grand view of the battlefield. But the aftermath, the Union victory at Gettysburg, marked a turning point in the war, halting Lee's invasion of the North. The Confederates suffered 28,000 casualties, while the Union lost around 23,000. Lee's army retreated to Virginia, and the Confederacy never again mounted a major offensive in the North. President Abraham Lincoln later honored the sacrifice of those who fought with the Gettysburg Address, solidifying the battle place in America's history. This has been an amazing time to visit Gettysburg, and I know I'll be back again. But like all good things, this video and this clip on Gettysburg has to come to an end. But before we do, we have some more video content for you. Well, Dave and I decided to brave the rain and go explore the entire battlefield. This location, which is called Oak Ridge, or Oak Ridge Tower, is known because of the Union soldiers holding this position on July 1st. And it was held until they were driven through town around 4 p.m. as the Confederates advanced. The Union soldiers here held stubbornly against Rhodes' division, but by 3:30 that afternoon, the entire Union line from here to McPherson Ridge had begun to crumble, falling back to Cemetery Hill. You can look off in the distance and see that ridge, and then further to my right, off there, is actually the town of Gettysburg. Fighting was fierce in the town, but ultimately the Union soldiers fell back.
As far as the eye can see, you can look off in the distance, and this cannons and howitzers were set up and supported actively as the Northerners tried to make advancements. It's hard to see, but way off in the distance there's a barn, and there's a structure, a tower way over there. That's where they were firing into. They were protected behind this wall, which was here, and you can see the picket fences across. And it was stated that they were harassed by sharpshooters, but these howitzers would silence them.
This marker represents the 11th Mississippi Regiment that charged on that fateful day of July 3rd. It's amazing because 393 of those men charged, 110 were killed in battle, 193 were wounded, 37 were captured, and only 53 survived.
This is the North Carolina monument, and it was sculptured by no other than the guy who did Mount Rushmore. And across that field way off in the distance, that's Pickett's Charge.
Yeah, that's Seminary Ridge over there, right?
Seminary Ridge, yep. This monument was the first Southern monument erected in 1917, and the horse is Traveler, and the rider is Robert E. Lee, and they say that this is the closest to his likeness that was existed. And where we're at is the epicenter where he observed the battle, which was Pickett's Charge. And out there, many, many thousands perished.
It's hard to think that even Florida participated in the Civil War this far north in Pennsylvania. Of the 700 that charged that day, 445 were killed.
General Longstreet, looking out towards the Battle of the Picket Raid. This is the extreme west end of the Pickett raid. And off in the distance, over in the horizons where they were trying to go. But that's Little Round Top over here, and they were trying not to be spotted. And they were regrettably unsuccessful in accomplishing that.
What a beautiful memorial, man. Yep. Is that crazy? It's right there still. It's basically just like it is now.
The house off in the distance, which is right there, belonged to a family called the Warfields. They were a black family that escaped from slavery to find freedom. And he purchased that house. And 1 year prior to the battle, he heard the Confederate soldiers arriving, and he left. After the battle, he came back to find 23 shallow graves. His house was ransacked, bullet-ridden, and basically died destitute. And that house sits today as it did back in 1863 and 1864. Devil's Den down there.
Yep.
And this is the extreme left of Little Round Top. And the Confederacy charged from Devil's Den in this corner, trying to make the charge to take this corner, and weren't successful. The 101st Maine and New York were able to hold them off. This is the monument to the guys who did that.
Get a farmhouse way over there. I wonder if this is the most expensive. Pretty elaborate.
Yeah, it was. I guess people had smaller feet back. So where Dave and I are standing in this rock, somewhere within 10 to 15 feet of this very location, Strong, who was an officer to maintain this hill, was mortally wounded in the neck with a riding crop, probably where Dave was standing or really close to it. And the Confederates were literally right in here. Pretty neat to stand in the footprint of those who fought before us. This is on top of Devil's Den. And in this direction here is where the Confederate Army came up and pressed and pushed back the Union Army to go back to Little Round Top, which is over here. And then Confederates held this position, and they tried to advance on Little Round Top and never could take it. So Little Round Top was up here, Big Round Top up here. Taking this trail kind of gives you a sensation or of the way it would have felt to try to take this hill. Rocks, and you're highly exposed. Nowhere to hide on Little Round Top. Looking back at Devil's Den. So if you look at the hole up at the top, that's from a cannonball that went through. Here's a picture during the period of it. Unflinching under fire. You can also see the bullet holes still in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Something I just noticed when I was looking at this is actually the cannon hole, and it goes all the way through the building.
Oh, that's crazy.
I didn't notice that until just now.
The legend of the Spangler Springs, a well-known anecdote, suggests that the Union and Confederate soldiers temporarily set aside their differences to share the spring's water. Although the story may be more legend than fact, it reflects the deep longing for unity and peace during a time of division. Our country was heading ultimately for prosperity. The Gettysburg battlefield marked a significant period during the war. Over 51,000 casualties took place in 3 days, the bloodiest single battle of the Civil War. But the deaths didn't end there. There was over 750,000 soldiers that were killed during the American Civil War. 360,000 of them from the Union and 260,000 from the Confederacy. It was a terrible waste and a terrible time for our country. But thank God we are where we are now.